What's up, y'all? Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media, and I'm here today with a little bit of a different content swing for you guys. We're here to talk about the UFC 298 lineup that's going to be coming over here to Anaheim, California on February 17th. Anaheim Ducks Center is going to be getting a show on their hands. Topuria and Volkanowski. I got the lovely Charlie Quinn over there from the East Coast helping me co-host. How you doing today, brother?
Good, brother. Almost midnight. We're grinding out here, bro. On the same wavelength. You know what I mean? It's always going to be New York or nowhere, Natty or nowhere. Shout out Natty Combat Apparel. My dog, John, always taking care of me. But, hey, man, UFC 298. It's going to be by you, bro, West Coast. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Really excited to get the expertise over there from Charlie Quinn Media. He's always killing it. If you guys are not following him, make sure. What are you guys doing? This man's over there. You guys probably seen his Saban video already. It's going crazy. Make sure you guys are following the man. He's doing big things over there. But let's hop right into it, man. As he said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure that you guys are following him. But let's hop right into it, man. We got UFC 298 predictions. We're talking Topuria, Volkanowski. Who do you got, my man? Because this is a matchup that's hard to find who's going to win this one.
Tough matchup. Real tough matchup. Listen, you could tell me it's a life or death situation, and I got to pick somebody. I'd have a really, really tough time picking someone. Listen, this matchup is everything you could ask for as a UFC fan, as a media member, as a fighter, as a manager, you name it. This is stylistically why we watch the sport. This has the feel of McGregor Aldo, way back when, where you got Alex Volkanowski, 13-0 as a UFC featherweight. His only losses in the promotion come to Islam Makhachev, who, outside of John Jones, who he's got a lot of inactivity, obviously, but when he's in the sport, he's top dog, half pound number one. Outside of him, Islam, 100% the top dog in the sport right now. And that's in any promotion. He would, put the work on anyone right now. And those are the only two losses that Volkanovski has. And you have to credit him for that. His run in the promotion is incredible. He's beaten Volkanovski 3 times, he's beaten Aldo. He has wins over premier guys. He escaped Brian Ortega twice, whose jiu-jitsu was off the charts. We haven't seen him since, really. The inactivity of Brian Ortega, his career was derailed by Alex Volkanovski. That being said, Ilia Topuria, man, his star power is real. His star power, you look at the numbers on YouTube, Fight Week videos, he's doubling Alex and everything. And Alex has been a champion for a very long time. And the Aussies love the sport. It's not like there's no fan base surrounding him, Trains with Izzy. He's good friends with Izzy, 2 of the biggest names in the sport. So, listen, this has that feel of McGregor Aldo, where Ilya's running his mouth. He's talking his talk, Every training video you see him is precision, It's domination. They fed him Bryce Mitchell when Bryce Mitchell was on the rise, the American, They said that was going to be the toughest fight he's had, And Bryce Mitchell, savage on the ground, savage in jiu-jitsu. Walked through him. Submitted him. He walked through him. His eyes were he walked through him. That was mesmerizing. It was a masterclass. Listen, this has that feel. It really, really has that feel. 13 straight wins. Nobody could beat Volkanovski. Max Holloway could beat everybody else on planet Earth but Alexander Volkanovski. Listen, with all this being said, I'm rolling with Ilia Topuria. I'm rolling with the dog. Listen to me. This will shock the world, regardless of what the odds say, regardless of how it's a pick'em. This is going to shock the world due to Alex Volkanovski not losing in that division for as long as he hasn't. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm honestly, I was loving your first
trajectory. You got chills right now.
Yeah, I was loving your first trajectory, man, because I think I'm riding the Volk train. I don't know. It's just super hard to pick against this guy at 145. He looks like, and it's has nothing to do with his 155 performance. His last one I know is on a very short notice with the Charles Oliveira injury, and then even that first fight he took Makachev going up a weight class, and that was him on a full training camp. He took him all the way to those 5 rounds, and he made him work for it. That last round arguably could have gone to Volkanowski. So I mean, it's hard to pick against this guy. It's hard to pick against Volk. If there was a time to beat Volk, though, I think
right
this
now.
is the time. I think this is the time, like how you were saying with the McGregor Aldo situation. I found that as the perfect kind of it's almost like a perfect example of like history is repeating itself in a sense. And we possibly could see that history repeated on February 17th. But I got to go with Volk, man. Just it's hard to deny him over there at the featherweight division. As you said, beating Holloway 3 times, beating Aldo twice, and then beating Ortega in that very close fight. Then going in, I know the Korean Zombie. That's obviously not the best name on the resume towards the back end of Korean Zombie's career, but
Listen,
still,
the
that's a
Korean
big
Zombie was
name. That's
swinging
still a
that
huge
fight.
name. Yes.
He had Max not on his heels, but he was keeping him honest. He was swinging.
Yeah.
Listen,
He
not to cut you off. I going back to this, man. It has that feel. It has the feel of the stardom, the rise. Listen, I might get some scrutiny for this. I might get some hate for this, but in a perfect world, UFC 298, Ilya Taporia beats Alex Volkanovski. UFC 299, Sean O'Malley beats Chito Vera. At some point in the summer or the fall, the super fight is going to be Sean O'Malley versus Ilya Taporia at 145 if they both win. Once again, double champ status, McGregor vibes. That's what I'm getting from Ilya Taporia. That's the vibe I get. If you call me crazy, that's what I see. That's what I see. Call me a casual, call me whatever you want. I wouldn't be shocked if that is the scenario we see.
So you possibly, wow, you got the man, Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard, all these guys, they got to start contacting you for this matchmaking, man, because I don't even know if the UFC is ready for all that. I think they really are. I mean, man,
Listen,
UFC 290, that's a whole different
I
story
don't
too, as
think
well. That's
I'm not a
wow.
fan of you win the belt and then you go up and get another belt. Listen, what Connor did was, in my opinion, should be like a once in a lifetime thing. We really shouldn't see that again. But if it ever made sense, this is where it makes sense. He's a little bit bigger for the 145 division. But that being said, I think O'Malley is a little bit bigger for the 135 division, so he could come up and we can get to business, man. We can get to scrapping. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah,
So
I know we were
listen,
talking a little
or
bit.
even Taporia goes up to 55. You know, I don't think his reign at 45 is going to be too long. I think that he's got the flexibility to go up.
Oh yeah, I think Taporia, I know he's a little bit on the shorter side for the 55ers, but I think he would
Yeah,
definitely, I think he would win a couple of
strong.
fights. Not only that, but I think he'd give Islam a really, really entertaining fight. I think it would be, I honestly, I'd kind of give him like an Armin Surukian type fight if he were to fight Islam. I think they would have a really close fight, if not Taporia taking it, because like how you said, Taporia's got that sneaky ground game. He's really strong, so he could definitely upset the likes of Islam Makhachev. But let's take it over to that co-main event, man. You got Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker coming off that loss over there to Dricus du Plessis, now the 185 champ. And then you also got Paulo Costa. He's coming off of that big win over Luke Rockhold. It's been a while since we've seen Paulo Costa get back in there. Whittaker's trying to get back into it and trying to get back to that title picture. Who do you got taking this one, my man?
I mean, is it going to happen? Are we going to see this fight? Is it going to happen? Is Paulo Costa gonna fall off a skateboard or something the night before the fight? Like, are we gonna see this? Until I see these guys make weight and seriously project to get in there, I don't know. But all jokes aside, I think inactivity is real, and Paulo Costa's gas tank is has never really been there. That's what happens when you're the size of that man. Pause. But
Big pause
what
on that.
what Bobby Knuckles are we getting? You know what I mean? Are we getting the wrestling dominant Bobby Knuckles? Are we getting the Bobby Knuckles that came out against Dricus, where the whole world thought Dricus was going to lose, and Robert Whittaker came out flat? I don't know what was up, what was off, if there was an injury or he came out flat and he didn't look good.
Came out very
I hate to
slow. He
say it.
looked really slow in that Driscus fight. I've never seen Robert that slow on the feet, and it just seemed like Driscus. It was like Anderson
I
Silva-esque against him, man, just moving. I was like, what's Whittaker
hate to
doing, man?
say it. I don't love the chances if it's a banger early. If we get into the later rounds, which we may, it should favor Robert Whittaker. You would have to assume it's going to favor him, and he'll use his wrestling, and he'll take him to deep waters at the end of the fight. You know what I mean? He'll really just use his grit and get through it. If they're going to come out and go toe to toe from the opening, bell, it might be a very quick night. That's
I
all I'm going to say. If Robert Whittaker wants to stand in there and go toe to toe, which he might, he's an honorable man. He's not a boring fighter. You know what I mean?
No, he'll go out there and
Very
swing and
well.
bang.
He very well might come out and stand and bang. And I don't know if that benefits him from a fan standpoint. I'd love to see it. From a media standpoint, if you want me to pick the fight, I go with Robert Whittaker due to what he's accomplished in the sport and what he's done for the sport, as far as where he's from and helping grow the sport. Personality wise, too, he's been great. Obviously, personality doesn't win fights. Costa's hilarious. I'd lean Whittaker, but listen, my eyes were open after the last loss. Fighters don't really react well from that, especially at an older age. But inactivity is real, man. Costa's not in there ever, and when he is, he's tired very quickly. But he never
Very
quits.
fast.
That I will say is he doesn't quit.
Yeah,
He
that is the
doesn't quit.
one thing with Costa is it's always been the problem. You mean you go back to the Romero fight, obviously the Izzy fight, he was quote unquote drunk before the fight, and you just I don't know what this guy Costa. You like how you said, this guy even going to fight? Is he even going to show up on February 17th? I I don't know, man. I really. I'm gonna go with Whittaker on this one, just like how you said. I believe he has the merit in the sport, and he has like the most tools in his arsenal to be able to get it done. I think Costa definitely does have the gas tank issues. I think that will come into play, especially if it does go past that first round. If they're able to swing and bang and excuse me, but Costa's able to get a couple of big licks on Whittaker in that first. I could see it going Costa's way,
Listen,
but
this
it's
is
a very big if.
this
That's
is
a
do
very
or
big
die.
if.
The one thing that you have to take into account here. This is do or die for Paulo Costa. This is if you lose. Listen, this is a title eliminator. This is and not just a title eliminator. In my opinion, this is a career eliminator. The loser of this is never going to fight for a title again. It's not your usual title eliminator where you have to come back around and get on the circuit and rise through the ranks. Both of these guys have been in the sport long enough where this is do or die. This is it. So for Robert Whittaker, this is it. He's accomplished what he's accomplished. If he was to lose, he'll ride into the sunset at some point. For Paulo Costa, it's bigger than that. You may not see him fight in the promotion again if he loses. And that can mean a lot of things. He can go to PFL where they're looking to build a middleweight division. They don't really have anybody in the division. How tough of a fight is he for Johnny Eblin? Or, let's think bare knuckle. How crazy would Paulo Costa be in bare knuckle? He would sell. He would for sure sell. He'd get a payday. He'd be exciting. So that guy is exactly what bare knuckle's looking for. So I am interested. I kind of want him to lose so I can see how free agency unfolds because regardless of it being if it was a loss, look at his resume. Who he has lost to is incredible. It's
Yeah.
impressive the losses he has. It's actually, and I don't credit people for losing. I'm just the
If
people
you
who he's
are going
lost
to
to.
lose,
Those are the
it's
guys you want to
definitely
lose to.
yeah.
And
No,
The Marvin
100%.
Vettori fight was a war, and he
No,
was
it
overweight.
has
I
a
know they had issues and all that stuff, but that was a war.
yeah, that fight, I feel like that Vittori fight too, it gets undermined a lot, especially looking back at Paulo's career, because the Izzy fight, obviously, that's what everyone's going to talk about, his championship loss. And I just don't feel like that was like those two losses, like how you said, I feel like those are good losses to have on your resume. If you're going to lose to anyone in the middleweight division, have it be the champ. And then Marvin Vettori, he went through a lot to get even into the cage for that fight. Goes out there, puts up a pretty solid performance considering everything that he had going on. And Vittori at the time was, I know people make fun of him now for being kind of a standing punching bag and what so on and so forth. But man, this guy, he's he's a top contender over there in that middleweight division before Cannonier got his hands on him, man. So Vittori definitely was that guy over there at 185. Taking it over to the 170s now, we got Jeff Neal and the man Ian Gary. I don't like saying his nickname too much, but the fan nickname that they got for Ian Gary and Jeff Neal. Who do you got taking this one, man? I know that this is definitely one of those fights where it can kind of go either way. And I'll let you go first on this one, and then I'll give my prediction.
Listen, Jeff Neal has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. He 100% has the opportunity to do it. That being said, listen, Ian Machado, Gary, has caused a ruckus in the sport over the past year, has stepped over some lines, has been egregious. Listen, I'm Irish. You'll see the flag up there. My last name is Quinn. I am as Irish as could be. I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan. I love McGregor, obviously. That's why I watch the sport. Listen, I loved him coming into the promotion. I thought he was the next big thing. I still think he's very talented. The way he acts makes you want to root against him. The way he acts is unbearable. Listen, the T-shirts of the mugshot of Jeff Neal is just insane to me because it didn't even come from Ian, which is the craziest thing to me. Like, if you're gonna be a dick yourself. You don't have to have somebody else writing your jokes and ghost writing everything for you. Like, listen, it's very common where people have other people running their social media and stuff like that. I get it. I'm not going to speak about people's wives. Not going to do that. But Ian Gary has become unbearable, and I don't even know if we could blame him. Put it that way.
100%.
That being said, none of that has anything to do with fighting. That being said, he's going to steamroll him. He's going to steamroll him, and
wow,
I think that the trolls are getting into this a little too much. And Ian Gary's talented, man. He's a striker. He has some great striking, and it's a little goofy. He gets clipped a little bit. I get it. He's good. He's really good. He's really good, and I think he's really good. I just think he's unlikable. You put all that stuff to the side, and he's a really good fighter, man. He's disciplined. I think he's a good fighter. I just think if you take his outside the octagon BS out of there, and you just watch his film and you just really break him down, he's really good, man. He's really talented. And Jeff Neal is notorious for, throwing a wrinkle into stardom, people's rise.
The Shavkat fight, man. That Shavkat fight was scary for those people over in Kazakhstan. They were holding on to the edge of their seats, especially that second round.
I think that benefits Ian Gary, though, because when you're studying and you're preparing for a guy like this, listen, he trains around Shavkat. He knows how good Shavkat is. So for him to see that, and then actually now he has to go fight him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he's seeing Shavkat every day. He's in the same building as him. He's going to be prepared. I think that this is going to be an easy fight. And call me crazy. I think this is an easy fight due to, teammates fought him recently. The coaches are going to be prepared for him. Everybody hates him. The entire world hates him now. So usually, what happens with that. The opposite happens. Listen, I think that we're going to see a real legit fight for Ian Gary after this. And I'm curious to see who it is. It could be anybody. It could literally be anybody. But he's going to get a dog next. Like, is he going to get the winner? Like, what if Gilbert Burns beats Jack? What if Gilbert Burns loses to Jack Della? I don't even know how to fucking say his name.
Jack Della Maddalena.
What if he loses? What if he loses to Jack? What if Jack wins? Are we going to get those two? It's going to be mayhem if Ian Gary wins. It's a good time to be involved in the sport, man. Things are changing, and I love it.
Yeah, the 170, the whole 170 division. I feel like with that Usman loss, they kind of got a whole burst.
it's never gonna feel like Edwards is good enough to keep the reign going, but he looked as sharp as you could possibly look his last fight. So early
Like,
on, at least,
oh,
game plan was
100%.
incredible. Patience.
Yeah, he's Leon Edwards, the champion of 170. He's insane. I think that we'll probably see a championship fight if he's able to keep that belt between him and Ian Gary in the foreseeable future. I think
I
that
see
that's
Shavkat
possibly
versus Ian at 170 in less than 18 months.
that's the fight I think they're making. I was just about to say when you were saying fights, I think the fight that
You
they
won't
go
see
with
it till you
UFC
won't see it till there's gold on the line, though. Not with teammates. That's you've seen how many times, time and time again. The last set of teammates to fight for the belt, I think, was Gilbert Burns
and
and
Kamaru.
Kamaru,
Yeah.
and that was very emotional. Those guys didn't enjoy that. I know that they were crying after it.
Yeah,
So
especially the way that fight ended for Gilbert
guys
too.
aren't going to do that unless there's a belt on the line. So listen, I'm not saying those two are best friends. I'm sure they speak different languages and probably don't communicate too often, but I think it's best for the gym. You know what I mean? And the coaches and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect to see those two unless there's gold on the line.
the morale and all that. But hey, I honestly I'm gonna go with this is my crazy prediction. I got Jeff Neal by TKO. I got
If there's a
I
way
don't
he's
know
gonna win, it's
why.
gonna be that way.
I don't know why I'm feeling a Ian Gary loss, and I really want Ian Gary to win because, like how we were saying before, I think that an Ian Gary win propels the division forward. I think that a Jeff Neal win kind of stalls it a little bit because that kind of nullifies some of that star power that Ian Gary has. But man, that Shavkat fight, like how we were talking about, he looked so good. And I know that may be a benefit to Ian Gary, but especially with all the heat that Jeff Neal has coming into this fight, with the whole t-shirt situation, having the first fight get canceled, and then him going and fighting Neil Magny, and Ian Gary tore apart Neil Magny at the legs, and obviously we all seen how that fight went. But I don't know, man. I'm just feeling something about Jeff Neal for this fight camp. He's been real quiet. He hasn't really been chirping a whole lot. The only time he did was that whole middle finger there going back and forth, the whole videos back and forth. But man, it's kind of been quiet for him on his end, besides for that little video. So I'm really excited to see what Jeff Neal goes in there and produces. I'm not even the biggest fan of Jeff Neal. I'm not like a hands of steel guy, but I'm feeling an upset victory on his hands.
It would be cool if he knocked him out and wore some sort of ridiculous T-shirt in retaliation. That would be cool. I wouldn't be against it. I
I
just
think the
think that
Anaheim
with
Center
all
would
the
go
BS,
crazy.
I just think that with all the BS surrounding Ian Gary, it would make too much sense for him to just steamroll this man and move on to the next one and then just get abused again. You know what I mean? It'll be, when is he going to fight a real opponent? This, that. You know what I mean? Where if you watch the sport, you know that Jeff Neal is as game as it is. You know what I mean? He's as game as it gets. So
Yeah, especially on the feet. I mean, there's no one else like when we say hands of steel, Jeff Neal, that man really does have some
we're
hands
gonna
of
find
steel.
out how
Like,
good Ian Gary is because he's a striker and so is Jeff Neal. So run it.
yeah. Moving over to the 135s now, we got Marab and Henry Cejudo, kind of another one of those like Robert Whittaker-esque matchups for Henry Cejudo here. You know, I feel like if Henry loses this fight, I mean, where do you go? And Marab too.
I mean, I have no words on Henry Cejudo. Listen, legend of the sport, knows the sport probably better than anybody ever. He's one of the smartest minds I've ever seen. That being said, ever since he retired, he's given me Tony Romo vibes, where he knows the sport better than he plays it. So I didn't love what he looked like when he fought Aljo. Listen, a long layoff. He deserved that. He deserved to walk into that fight. I will say that. Listen, you could think he's cringy, you could hate the guy, but what he's accomplished in combat sports is it's unreal.
Second to none.
It's unreal. So listen, you give the guys flowers. And that being said, Rob should have fought for a title a very long time ago. And he's very active and he fights good fighters. Peter Yan, Jose Aldo, even Cody Stamann is a nice name, coming through the ranks. Marlon Moraes before his, fall off. Listen, he even beat Katona, before Katona was in and out of the promotion. I love Marab's pace. Marab's pace is unheard of. What he brings onto you at that size, it's unheard of. It really is, and I think that's tribute to the Georgian background and the wrestling background and training with guys like Aljo and Law MMA. Law MMA is one of, if not the best gyms in the country. Definitely on the East Coast, it's up there.
They're killing it.
You can't take the guy down. When you take him down, he gets back up. It's tough to stop his takedowns, and when he takes you down, you can't get back up. So it's just a constant pressure, and he might not submit you or knock you out, but he's going to pressure you, and you're not going to be comfortable. You're never going to be comfortable. So I think Henry's going to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Smartest mind in the sport. I think he's going to be prepared for that, and it's going to be interesting. I don't have a prediction for the fight. Take the over. Do yourself a favor, and just watch it go to a decision. That's 100% where it's going. Nobody's getting slapped. I'd be surprised if somebody got submitted with the high level of jiu-jitsu and wrestling between all of these corners, let alone the fighters themselves. So it's going to be fun. Not really, but it's going to be stylistically, it's going to just be a couple guys rolling around, That's really, I'm not disrespecting anybody when I say that. Listen, I think Merab deserves a title shot. I think he deserved one a long time ago, and I'd like to see him get it done, and let's see how good he really is and run it against O'Malley. I think O'Malley's a lock. I don't think that he's going to lose against Cheeto. I just think that storybooks tell you this is how it goes. I'm big into that stuff. Listen, sometimes you don't even need analysis. You just you have a gut feeling. You know what I mean? Obviously, you always need analysis, but you have a gut feeling, and that's my feeling on that. So how do you feel about this fight? Tell me. Break it down. What do you got?
Henry Cejudo and Merab Dvalishvili. I got to go with Merab. There's just like how you said, that pace is just so unbreakable. Yeah, I just cannot imagine Henry Cejudo. Like how you said, that last Aljo fight, it already seemed he was kind of getting a little bit outpaced by Aljo. And I'm not trying to knock Henry. I know that was a very close fight between them both, but it seemed at some points, especially in the later rounds, I was like, Henry's got a good gas tank, so where's it gonna start pushing in? When are we gonna see the triple C? You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't feel like we seen that in that Aljo fight. And like I really love the comparison you gave to Tony Romo, because I do feel like that's how he is. It's like he's really great at analyzing the sport, and he knows the ins and out like no one else. Like this man, I believe he's got the commentary job on lock for when he is done with the sport.
100%. 100%.
But oh no, I just can't see Merab losing this fight, especially how you said. I believe if I bet money on this, I'm taking the decision. I would have to go Merab by decision, just due to the fact you already know he's gonna shoot. I'd probably say, if you guys are betting people, take the over on takedowns. He's gonna shoot the over.
Listen, I think it's gonna be tough for both of them to land takedowns. I think that they're both going to stick to their game. They're going to feel each other out, pause, and they're going to, that's what they're going to do. First round is going to be as boring as could be. You're not going to see much action, in my opinion. Round 2 is where they're going to pick up the pace, and it's going to be like they're swinging, and, you're not used to seeing them strike like that. And then round 3, it's going to be, okay, I have 2 rounds up, or we're tied going to the third, or, I'm down 2 rounds. And then you're going to see a little unorthodox type of fighting. And either way, it's going to the decision. I would be utterly shocked if it didn't go to the decision. Either way, I think it could go either way. I would lean Merab, but Henry's mind in the sport is top notch.
So if say Henry does win, right? Let's just go. I mean, world's going crazy. Henry Cejudo gets the decision.
The division makes no sense if Henry wins. I'll stop you right there. The division is in Dana, Hunter, none of these guys want that to happen. There's no way. That benefits nobody. So if he was to win, how does Corey Sandhagen not get the next crack?
Exactly. That was going to be my next question, because it kind of throws a stall in the 135.
If you weren't going to give it to Merab, it should have went to Corey Sandhagen. But listen, UFC is an entertainment business. It's about storylines. It's about excitement. It's about what sells. And Cheeto versus Sean, that sells. That's what you want. If there's a time to make it, it's now. It could possibly slip away and never have it again. You know what I mean? Just like Usman versus Masvidal, it got raised up those levels, and you had it. might as well never do anything again. You know what I mean? That's you have to take advantage of these moments, and they're going to. The one fight they let slip through the cracks that they shouldn't have was Jose Aldo versus Aljamain Sterling for the belt. That I'll never forgive them for. They gave it to TJ Dillashaw, who was old, slow, and hurt. I don't know who cleared him, who passed his physical. He didn't deserve to get that fight, especially that he took steroids and challenged the integrity of the sport during its biggest rise. So I will never, ever forgive the UFC for that. But listen, they'll move on. They'll make millions of fights. They'll make millions of dollars. What do I know? I'm just a kid.
I
Not
didn't
even a
even
kid.
think about that when they scheduled that Dillashaw matchup, bringing Aldo in. That would have been,
And then
I feel
Aldo
like, a
fought
good
Merab
send
and
off.
retired.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect send off for
What do you
Aldo
think?
too.
What do you think? The steroid abuser or the champion who never lost for a decade and put all the time into the sport? Who would you give the going out fight
You
to?
got to give it to Aldo, dude. I mean,
Give
and
it to
and it
Aldo.
just feels like the UFC, like now, I didn't even look at it like that, but they did kind of do Aldo dirty, man.
They
What the
hold him.
hell?
They hold
They
him.
hold him, man. Come on. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. That's actually kind of infuriating now looking back at it, because did they fight on that same card, right, over there in Abu Dhabi?
Yep. And TJ Dillashaw will probably never fight again. If he does, he'll probably look like shit because he's coming off a major shoulder surgery. And
Yeah.
he looked like shit before he got it. So I mean, listen, he's another great champion, another great athlete in the sport. But when you do what he did, it's tough to earn respect. And I'm sure he doesn't need my respect. I'm sure he doesn't give a shit about my respect. He's got his money, he's got his
He'll go to
businesses,
sleep
and
tonight.
he's got his
Just
belt.
okay.
So I think he'll be perfectly fine. I could have a trillion followers. He's not gonna give a shit. So sure, he's a nice guy. You just, actually, I've heard he's not a nice guy in sparring and stuff like that, but that's for another time. But listen, it's a shady business. It always has been. It always will be. Combat sports is always it's you fight for money. It's crazy. When you break it down, it is you have to be morbidly fucking insane to do it. So
And these men definitely are insane, man. I mean, fucking Marab, Henry, we got Ian Gary, we got all these guys, man.
it's a
They all
sneaky good
got
main
different
card.
quirks. Yeah,
It's a
it's
sneaky
a.
good main card, man.
I really like this main card, man. Any other big storylines that you're really seeing in the UFC that you're really excited about coming up in these next coming weeks? I know,
Give me a
obviously,
fight, man. Give Connor a fight. That's it. Just give me a fight for him. That's all I want. I want to see Connor get back in there. I don't care who it's against. Give him Diaz. Give him Poirier. Give him Chandler. Give him anybody. I personally don't care. Obviously, I love Connor. He's my favorite fighter. Like I said, reason why I watch the sport. But I don't. I just want to see him back in there. It's better for the sport. The fight week's better. Whether you like him or not, he's entertaining. You're gonna crack up watching him, or you're gonna say, "Ah, fuck this guy." Like either way, you're gonna speak about him, and that's what we need in the sport. We need more of that. And fuck the streamers, fuck all the bullshit influencers. We need guys like McGregor back. Listen, him versus Diaz at 300 would set the world on fire.
100%. If that
The
fight
world
got
on fire.
made tonight, Diaz and McGregor 3, UFC 300, it would fit everything that all these fans have been. Oh my God,
And
UFC 300 main event.
I'll give you the prediction right now as well. If we're talking combat sports world, you will see at the end of the year, by the end of the year, the $1 million champion in PFL in the lightweight division will be Shane Burgos. You could bet on that. I am going to personally bet on that. You could tell Shane. I'll call him up. I'll tell him myself. And I'm telling you, that's my prediction. If you find odds on it, let me know. I want them. I will tell you right now, he is going to win that $1 million belt championship, whatever you want to call it. And then OAM is going to come back next year out of retirement, and we're going to get to it. That's what I see. I think that those two have unfinished business, and Burgos was brought over for a reason. That Collard fight was a war. You give them 5 rounds. Burgos is coming out of there. I'm telling you, that fight was incredible. The best fight I've ever seen in person. One of the best fights I've ever seen on pay-per-view was Billy Q against Burgos. Listen, I have a little bit of bias because I know Shane, I know Ryan, I know his brother, I know the guys at Tiger Showman, but he's one of the most exciting fighters that you'll ever see. No bullshit. He's awesome to watch.
I feel like the Burgos brothers, man, they definitely always put on a show every
Ryan's
single
a
time.
savage.
Yeah,
Ryan
every
is
single
a
time I see
savage, and
him,
when
man.
he gets healthy, he is going to be a problem.
Is there any other I know the PFL Bellator card is coming up. Any possible kind of win trajectories that you see going that way, or you see it going all Bellator? I personally think it's possibly going to be going all Bellator over there.
I'd like to see Impa win. I don't think he will. I expect it to go mostly Bellator personally, and it has nothing to do with the talent levels on each side. I just think straight up the fighters are better.
They just had more experience too. I mean, a lot of those guys, if you look at their
the
records,
guys who hold the belts, in my opinion, and I think that Patchy Mix is probably the second best bantamweight on the earth, right behind.
I think
Sean
he arguably takes Sean.
So,
I love Patchy Mix.
Way, you know, I think Patchy's a dog. I've seen him train live in person. I've watched him fight live in person. You know, he's electric. But the one thing I want to see in combat sports is I want to see Cody Garbrandt back in the win column. You know, maybe that's why I was giving you the fuck TJ Dillashaw about 10 minutes ago. I'd like to see Cody G, you know, get his hand raised at 300 and see if he's got one run in him, man. Guys like that, I'd like to see him, you know, get back into a good mental state. You know, he had a lot of, you know, problems, you know, out of the cage, and it's tough. These guys are human at the end of the day. They're not just fighters. So, but if there's anything you want to add?
No, man. I think that Cody Garbrandt Deviation Figueiredo fight's going to be a really fun one though at UFC 300, man. I'm really excited for Cody to get back in there. Like how you said, he definitely had some challenges getting back to it, and you know he went down to the flyweight, went back to bantamweight. I'm just really happy for the guy. You know, you could tell that he definitely feels a lot more at home in the 135 division compared to at 125. It felt like that Kai Kara France, even the lead up to it, it felt really weird. It just didn't feel like Cody was Cody, and now, you know, he's kind of back to his old self, even too after that win over Kelleher. You know, I know Kelleher, obviously people have their opinions on him, but he's still a UFC caliber prospect, somebody that was kind of in the same situation as Garbrandt, you know, fighting to get back in there. And he puts him out. You see just Garbrandt's hand go up, and it gives you back to those old times, man. So I'm really excited for Cody, and I think he possibly could pull off a big win over there at 300.
Listen, aside from that, combat sports, Combat FC 6 Monday night press conference live on YouTube, hosted by me. Gonna get everybody fired up, man. We're a little overwhelmed. You know, it's expected about 10 to 15 media guys. I think we're closing in on about 50 for regional MMA. Is morbidly insane. So I appreciate all you dudes. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody for the support, and we're going to knock this thing out of the park one by one. We're all going to get our content. We're all going to get our questions in, and, you know, we're going to keep growing, you know, through the media space together. And so all we can do is help each other, you know, lift each other up, not to sound corny or anything like that. But, you know, man, I love what you're doing, and I appreciate you having me on. And, you know, I'm sure we'll get a couple nice clips out of this for the gram. You know, anything I could do to help view wise, you know, I'd love to help. You know, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody or I got a bigger platform, right now, but if I could help out, you know, a fellow guy like myself who works his ass off, I would. And I co-sign for you on anything, bro. You know, keep working your ass off.
This is my guy right here. Thank you so much, Charlie. It is awesome. Hopefully we get to have you back for UFC 299. Go talk about the East Coast fights. That's going to do it for us over here, man. Michael Hernandez of MLH Media. My guy, Charlie Quinn over there of Charlie Quinn Media on the East Coast. Make sure you guys are following him if you guys are not already. I'll make sure to throw up his @ on the screen as well. And we are going to be signing out over here. UFC 298 predictions, Anaheim. Make sure y'all are tuning in.